everyone, it's Amy here. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So today we're going to be doing the Anti TBR tag, which I think is a fantastic tag. It's a great idea. I will link the creator of the tag down in the description below if you want to go and see their content as well. So let's just jump into the questions. Number one is a popular book that everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. And it's one that I actually own, which is hilarious. I'm going to be unhauling it soon. And that is The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. Now, I don't know why I have this one. I can't remember ever buying it, so I must have been given it by someone or just acquired it somehow. But it's a book that has literally been sat on my shelf for so long, and so long that I've almost kind of look over it every time that I go to my shelves, because I was reassessing them the other day and I was picking out books to unhaul and I was like, how is this here? Like, I'm definitely not going to read it. I have no interest in reading this kind of book, but I do know that it is a book that is extremely popular and people love. So here we go. This is the first book. Number two is a classic book or author you don't have any interest in reading. So I have a couple of answers for this one. The first one being Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. This is a huge book. I've never seen the play, I've never seen the film or anything like that, and I just don't have any interest to. It's never been one that I've like felt the urge, and I do read a lot of classics and I've read large classics before, so it's not that necessarily puts me off. It's just I have no interest in the story. Apologies if any of these are your favourite books. I'm not here trying to offend anyone. It's just a fun video, so please don't come for me in the comments. The second classic book that I wanted to mention, again, is one that for some reason I have, and that is On the Road by Jack Kerouac. I don't know why I own this one. I must have bought it at some point or been given it, I don't know. But again, this is just one I have no interest in. I've read a few books that are kind of this era of like American dream type stories, you know, like The Great Gatsby and The Catcher in the Rye and things like that. I just have no interest in that kind of stuff anymore, so sorry Jack, I will not be reading your book. Question number three is an author whose books you have no interest in reading. Now for me that has to be Haruki Murakami. I just have no inclination to pick up any of his books. I believe he's like a Japanese author, but from what I've heard of people that have read, like he's written a lot of books. A lot of people say that they kind of tell the same story. The characters all kind of seem very similar, and he's kind of got like almost a bit of a one-trick pony with the way that he writes and the stories that he tells and the characters that he writes. Question 3.2, I love that there's a 3.2, is a problematic author whose books you have no interest in reading. And so this is an author who I have read books from previously, but someone who I don't now plan on reading books from again, and that is J.K. Rowling. I'm sure I don't really need to go into why I wouldn't be reading anything more from J.K. Rowling. She has very, very skewed opinions on trans women, and I just do not agree with her at all. I think it's sad for someone who has such a large following and who has such a prominent voice that people listen to, for them to have such skewed and sad opinions on things, and yeah, just don't agree with her at all. So yes, I think it's a shame that she's not using her platform as positively as she could, and also I haven't read anything from her since Harry Potter. I didn't pick up any of her other books, and so I just have no inclination to read anything from her anyway, aside from the opinions that she has in the world, so oh well. Question number four is an author you've read a couple of books from and have decided that their books are not for you, and that has to be John Green. So I've actually read 4 of John Green's books, and I don't know how many he has, maybe 5 or 6, and at the time I think I convinced myself that I was enjoying them and that they were really fun and good. Now looking back, I mean, I've since unhauled them years ago now, and I just came to this realisation that actually I didn't really enjoy the characters, I didn't really enjoy the plots. I found them to be quite dull actually. Like I just feel his books are quite meandering, and the like plot isn't much of a driving force, but also that the characters I didn't connect to either. So like I have to have one or the other. Like, you know, you have to have a good plot or good characters, like something has to draw me in, and most of his books I found didn't really have that. I really enjoyed The Fault in Our Stars. I'd say that's probably the one that I enjoyed the most, but The Abundance of Catherines and Paper Towns I just found to be really, really dull. So yeah, definitely won't be reading anything more from John Green in the future. I do, however, have a Hank Green book that I'm going to be picking up soon, so I will be interested to see how the two brothers compare. Question number 5 is a genre you have no interest in, or a genre you have read some of and do not feel inclined to read anymore. And for me that has to be horror. I am terrible when it comes to reading scary books. Even thrillers sometimes are a little bit too intense for me. I find that I get bad dreams, that my imagination is so wild that I will imagine like all manner of crazy things off the back of reading something scary that it just kind of traumatizes me, and I just don't enjoy it. I don't get that like rush of like adrenaline and like joy that people get from being scared of stuff. I just don't enjoy being scared. The next question is a book that you have bought and you will never read. So again, I mentioned earlier Jack Kerouac's book. I don't know why I own this, but yes, I won't be reading it. And the second one I have here, already mentioned this author, is The Casual Vacancy. I picked this one up pretty much as soon as it came out. I mean, I got it in hardback, which is unusual for me because I don't like hardback books. So I was obviously keen to read more from J.K. Rowling at the time. However, I then discovered that it's not even like remotely magical. I don't know why I didn't bother reading the like blurb beforehand. But yeah, it just sat on my shelf. It's literally been on my shelf all of that time. It must be years. I don't know when this was published, but a very long time. And the more and more I hear about J.K. Rowling, the less inclined I feel to pick up anything from her. So definitely won't be reading this one. It's going to go to the charity shop when it can do. Question number 7 is a series you have no interest in, or a series you have begun and then do not intend to continue. So I've got a few I can give you for this one. So the first series is The Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I don't know if that has an actual name. That's the name of the first book. I read that one, didn't enjoy it at all. Won't be continuing on with the series. Got the Outlander books by Diana Gabaldon, I think her name is. I read the first one of that one, absolutely hated it. I don't know why I put myself through. Actually, it was a huge book. I don't know why I read it all. I actually listened to it on audiobook. That's probably why, because I was able to speed through it very quickly. Yeah, didn't enjoy that, won't be continuing. The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I think I read the first 2 books in that series and just wasn't vibing the retelling with the kind of futuristic cyborg type thing. Just wasn't vibing with it, so won't be continuing with that one. Recently I read A Touch of Darkness, which is the first book in the Persephone and Hades series by Scarlett St. Clair, I think her name is, or Scarlett St. John maybe? Anyway, I didn't like that book at all. It was terrible, and so definitely won't be continuing with that one. So yeah, lots of answers for that one. Final question is a new release you have no interest in reading. I have a couple of answers, and I think I've seen this one mentioned actually on a lot of people's videos, but I'm gonna say it anyway because those are my answers. The first one being Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. This is part of the Twilight series and it's told through the perspective of Edward. To be fair, if this one had come out back at the height of the Twilight days, I probably would have read it, but I'm definitely over that now. I just can't see how I would enjoy just reading through Edward's perspective on those books, so won't be reading that one at all. Second one is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I think it's called, by Suzanne Collins. This is a prequel to The Hunger Games. I loved The Hunger Games. I'm a real big fan of The Hunger Games. I've reread them as well a few times and they do hold up. I don't really feel like I need any more. Like I don't want to read any more from that world. I enjoy the kind of nostalgia of reading and I wouldn't want my opinions on any of the characters or any of the kind of story to be affected by a prequel. And so I feel like she like summed it up enough. Those are all my answers to the questions. I hope none of you are going to be coming at me with pitchforks in the comments. Do let me know down below what you would answer to these questions because I would absolutely love to have this conversation with you as well. As always, I'll leave links to everything I've mentioned today down below. I hope you're all having a fantastic day and I will see you soon. Bye!